The topic for today is Burning Man bad for the environment? Now, there was an article in the LA Weekly that said, like, let's be frank, Burning Man is bad for the environment, something like that. And in the initial premise of the article, it says, Burning Man has a reputation for being a green festival. And I kept reading, but I had to take pause right there. If your whole argument is built on the idea that the Burning Man is a green festival, it is not. Burning Man is a festival of art and self-expression. It is an art experiment. It is a temporary city that is governed by principles that encourage people to express themselves in wildly diverse ways. It is a petri dish that allows for whatever impulse people have for them to express it. Now, this environment allows for people to go through transformations, for people to, perhaps for the first time in their lives, act out the needs, urges, the heart songs that are deep inside them, and they act out in this loving, giving way. They act out in a compassionate way. They feel connected in a way that they often never have. And in that connection experience, in that awareness of how your actions and your gifts connect you to all of the other beings on the planet, people often will change their lives in small and dramatic ways. Some of those dramatic ways are in acting more green and more conscious about sustainability and their impact on the environment. Some people act in a direction where they get passionate about social injustice, and some people realize that giving to the world means all sorts of different things, and they give their time, or they maybe give more money, or maybe they think about the career that they want to have, and maybe if there's a way they can put their passions and actions and deeds, even in a professional way, more towards a direction that is in alignment with their values and passions. And maybe those values and passions are the environment, maybe not. But Burning Man is not specifically an activist event. There was a theme a while ago, several years ago, called Green Man, and it was kind of interesting because there was all sorts of encouraged and elevated expressions of environmental causes and attempts, and all sorts of additional solar and additional wind and all sorts of cool experiments. But the event itself is still, but by far and above all others, about liberation and self-expression. So I will agree, it is not good for the environment. That's not the point. I think that getting on Burning Man's case for not being good for the environment is kind of like getting on a protester's case for being, rude, or, getting in the way, or, you're missing the point. We're in the way to try to shake things up. And one of the consequences is that there might be a little bit higher carbon footprint during that week for people than the rest of their lives. Not the rest of their lives, than a week that they would spend in their default normal lives. I just saw a great quote online. Jesse Nomine said, "Let's be real. Society is bad for the environment. Burning Man is good for the soul." And that's something that I kind of keep coming back to when people get critical about Burning Man. I'm like, okay, is there ways that participants and the event can keep moving the bar to become more and more eco-conscious? Absolutely. And compared to years ago, that's absolutely happening. And people, as they feel drawn to, they make those changes. But all of us, if we are in the world, if we are part of society, we are consenting and participating in a massively horrific, terrible blight on the environment. Now, you could say, I don't have a car. I only eat what I garden. I don't own any product that was made in a factory. And if that is you, I don't know how you're watching this. I don't know what means you have to participate in the society. but good for you. And we should all aspire to find ways to be as minimally impacting as you are. But for the rest of us, we all have to draw our lines in the sand or in the dust or somewhere we would say, hey, here is a compromise I'm willing to make to interact with the world as I see fit. And in that process of interacting with the world, hopefully making the world a better place. And that's why I'm so defensive and so kind of quick to stop the negative attacks on Burning Man from its environmental footprint perspective. Because what happens is, as an individual, you go through the world and you make terrible consequences by your actions, by nature of being a part of society. And as you become, a executive in some corporation, you're still going to be making making choices from that same mind view that all of us have had in society. And it's so very easy to make a decision based on what is the bottom line, what is best for shareholders, etc. The only reason that you would change this ship if you're in charge of some massive corporation is because you can make more money doing it a different way, or because you have profound moral and value objections that you would be willing to sacrifice your professional career and status by taking a stand. So it is important to have institutions and events and some ways for our culture to give everybody opportunities to get shaken up enough so that we have those intense moral attitudes and feelings and stances, so that we do get to a state where we go, whoa, this is not okay, we need to be more responsible. And I think that the Burning Man experience, one of that feeling of connection, is the cure for irresponsible activities. I see some people protesting or writing these very upset diatribes, and I think, okay, you think that there is irresponsible, non-green actions that happen at the Burning Man Festival. I'm not going to argue with that. But how do you think that change is going to happen in the world? By making the people at this artistic expression event turn their focus into being eco-conscious? I'm not saying that yes, they should get better and better, and I think we all are. But people do not just change their habits because they're told to. You think that people that are out, all of us in society that are driving our cars, all of us that are, voting in a certain way, all of us, or any way, as we are a part of this society, we are a part of the problem. And do you think that anyone who's in charge of a corporation, you think that they're going to read somebody's thoughts or hear you or see a sign that you're, holding in front of their window and go, oh, the environment's important. Oh, see, I didn't get that up until now. No, everybody knows that. They have to have some sort of transformational BAM experience that makes you feel it and feel connected and feel, ow. As I destruct, I hurt myself. As I destruct, I hurt my children's children. As I make this choice that is good for my shareholders, I am selling my children's children into environmental slavery. Now, that awareness doesn't come from knowledge. That awareness comes from a deep heart connection. And Burning Man, with all its fire and smoke and wastefulness, is one of those rare places that gives people that connection feeling that transforms their lives. Are there other ways? I hope there's a billion ways that happens to people. But until those kind of transformational experiences are commonplace, we need to treat those with care and recognize that if it takes some resources to have those experiences, that is fuel and carbon well spent. There are so many places, I think, in our culture where we are destructive that need to be, tighter reins on, that taking the energy to get upset about a freedom expression as not being green enough, it just seems it's barking up the wrong tree. We should be barking up the tree that's being logged because it's being made room for barley that can be fed to cows so that we can have our cheap beef or whatever. The thing that Burning Man does is it allows people to find what their passion is, and then they go off and they do it. And I have this faith that when people do get in touch with their heart song and they act from that place, and everybody does what their passion is, somehow the collective makes the world a better place. So you who are so angry, your passion right now is for the environment. Awesome. Lead by example. Inspire us. Inspire everyone who is off on their following their heart songs. Inspire them in a way so that as they are doing their thing, they find ways to incorporate more and more eco-conscious sustainability into their practices. I recycle. I try to do the right thing. But I also try to live my life in a way that encourages everybody to be true to themselves and live by their values. And when we can do that, then society starts making choices that are more eco-conscious across the board. So I will try to be better. Our camp will try to be better. I hope all of us will try to be better. Thank you. I love you.